Solstice 2022 is right on the horizon, and today Bungie decided to drop some screenshots of the new armor we're going to be getting, so let's talk about it. So before we start with the opinions, let's start with some facts. So Solstice will begin July 18th, and all of the armor you're seeing on the screen will be free. You can get this by just grinding the event. If you want the version of these sets that change depending on the subclass that you have on, those will be purchasable through Eververse. And if it is just like last year, you will be able to purchase that through Bright Dust or Silver. Now that we got all of that out of the way, let's get to my first impressions, which are very mixed. So I posted these whenever they were released on my social media, and let me just say, people don't really like them, but when do they ever like anything? When I look at an armor set, I always try to find what pieces can be used with current armor that we have now. What can I mix with the armor that I use every day to make it even cooler? So starting with the Warlock Armor, I think you guys are going to be really happy with this set. Let me tell you why. So if you're a regular on this channel, you know that I like whenever Bungie puts in some effort to do the Warlock legs right. Whenever they do Warlock Armor, usually the boots are really the only part that they really decorate. So yeah, I really like the boot design. I think these boots are going to be extremely useful for creating some fashion, as well as the robes. I also like the design on like the arms with the little lines going across it, and I also like whenever robes kind of just split down the middle. And I like whenever it splits down the middle to show off the more unique legs in the game, and specifically to show off exotic leg armor for the Warlocks. Not only that, but I just think the robes are going to be extremely useful just in general for Destiny fashion. I think you're going to be able to get a lot of mileage out of these robes, so I would strongly recommend you go on the grind if you're a Warlock. The helmet is pretty cool. I think that this one will be pretty neat if you're trying to maybe combine this with the Last Wish armor or any of the armor from the Dreaming City if you want to make something like a knight build. But whenever we get to the gloves and the bond, those are a little bit more forgettable. While the bond still has kind of a cool design, it's nothing that's going to make new lights go, wow, what armor set is that? As for the gloves, they are honestly a little bit forgettable. They are too bulky, and you can swap them out for any other Solstice gear in the past, as well as maybe Dawning gear, because they all kind of have that same design language. As for the glow on the set, I think people are going to like it for the most part. Personally, I think the one on the helmet is a little bit too much. I'm getting a little tired of the mohawk glows. They are really tall and honestly kind of annoying. But on the actual robe itself, at least on the bottom part and the chest area, I think those two are going to be really cool, and I think people are going to make some fun things with it. But either way, I strongly recommend you Warlock mains go out and get this set. The main pieces that you will use for fashion are strong on this set: the legs, the robes, and the helmet. You're gonna need them. Okay, next up we have the Titan set, and I feel like this one is the weakest of the bunch because frankly, I'm a little bit confused. So I've never completely liked the Titan armor that Solstice produces, mainly because they are based off of this like main set right here that we then upgrade to make something cool, right? Well, that main set I do not like on the Titans. It has crazy big shoulders, and I feel like the proportions are kind of just crazy. And we did start to stray away from that in most recent years. We did get rounded shoulders and better proportioned armor for the Titans, but somehow we've just gotten back in time, and now we have crazy big shoulders and stupid proportions. And again, I always try to think about the future and what we can do with this armor with our future sets and what we have with our current sets. But honestly, I can never find a use case for big shouldered Titans, and whenever I do see people try to make these work, personally, I don't like them. So what do I like from this set? I think whenever you start to turn off the glow, which I usually do, and that's the armor that I end up transmogging, I like the legs and the helmet. I think those two are going to be pretty useful to me, and maybe the mark. Both of those will be pretty easy to use with like a Dreaming City armor, Last Wish armor, anything that has to do with knights. And the rest of the gear, not so much. I mean, we've seen a ton of chest plates that look like the one that we have on now right here in the picture, but they end up kind of looking a little bit wonky on male titans. Female titans, you guys can probably pull it off. Male titans, I anticipate that we won't be able to do it. Now the mark, that one is a little bit interesting. I can definitely see myself maybe using this with some trials armor because it does give me some Egyptian vibes. Now it does look like it's just a cloth wrapped around the waist, so you can possibly even use this with like the Lux set, the Couturier set, or even the Intrepid set. As for the glow, both the white one and the one that changes colors depending on the subclass, I think it's actually used pretty tastefully here, with the exception of the arms and the helmet. On the helmet, I would strongly recommend that you just use the version that doesn't have the glow, because the wings are just kind of weird. Why do you have like little feathery wings on your head? I don't like it. Next up, we have the hunter gear, and I'm just gonna get this out of the way right now. No, the arms are not symmetrical. I don't know why Bungie keeps creating asymmetrical armor sets for the hunter. I feel like there is just someone there that is a hunter main and really likes asymmetry. And I'll be completely honest with you, completely transparent. I also like asymmetry, but I at least know and recognize that people are not always liking it, and you should always do something in moderation, not literally every single time you release an armor set. But like I said, I like the armor with the exception of the arms, and it really isn't even the asymmetry that bothers me about the arms. It's the same thing that happened with the Warlocks. The gloves are just too bulky and too cartoonish. But even with that in mind, I think eventually you hunters are going to warm up to these gloves as well, and they're not really going to get in the way of anything. They actually fit with a lot of gear, such as like the Pathfinder stuff, all of the Dreaming City things, Meridian Constellation. You do have a lot of options to mix and match here. Part of the reason that I think I like this set is actually the chest plate and the legs. First of all, the chest plate has like these ropes going across it, and I'm definitely going to have a little bit of fun with trying to mix that with other sets, as well as just playing around with shaders. What can I do with the colors? On top of that, I just like the design that you see on the legs that again was on the Warlock robes. It's such a good design, and it adds something interesting to an otherwise really boring piece of the armor set, which is that like crotch area. But I also really like the boots on the hunter. I like how they go all the way up. I like how they're very pointy. I like how they just look like they are in movement. And I even like the glow coming out of the knee pads. With the solar glow, you can easily make that look like fire. And I think people are really going to have some fun playing with both the legs and the glow on them. Now the cloak, I for the most part like it. Without the glow, it's going to look even better, but even with the glow, it still doesn't look bad. I don't like the mohawk part, so I will personally have it off, but the back of the cloak is really cool. I actually really like all of these Solstice cloaks from the hunters because they have like holes in them, they are see-through, and I think they look really cool. Lastly, for the helmet, I think it looks pretty comparable to the other years of Solstice. Certainly not the best of the helmets that we've gotten, but it is definitely not the worst of the helmets. It just kind of sits happily in the middle. I would like to see maybe a little bit more of the back before I give any more opinions on that though. But you know, now that I think about it, I think a lot of my new players, especially the ones that came in during Witch Queen, I think you guys are going to like this helmet a lot more because a lot of you don't have any of those armor sets. And while you can buy them for silver, these are free and you should definitely seek these out and try these out. And with that being said, I think actually a lot of new players are going to enjoy these sets. They are bright, they are colorful, and the most important part, as far as the white glow goes and the base set, they are free. You can go out and actually earn these in game, which we don't really get to do a lot of these days. And I can honestly say that about all three of these sets. That is the beauty of Solstice right now, because a lot of the in-game events, if not all of them except for Solstice, you do have to buy these armor sets through Eververse, but Solstice still gives you the opportunity to earn these in game, and I think that is key, especially for my new players. But for the most part, for everyone, Warlocks, you guys are going to like your armor set the most. It is the best of the three in my opinion. Hunters, you guys also have a solid armor set. It may not be perfect, but you guys will make it work. As for the Titans, I think we are going to struggle to make something cool with these. Everything is just going to kind of look samey. We're going to try to mix these with existing Solstice sets. Not really much we can do in my opinion, but hey, I've been surprised before and I am optimistic. But of course, like I've said throughout the whole entire video, that is just my opinion, and now I want to know your opinion. Go down to the comments and sound off. Tell me what you like, tell me which is your favorite set, and are you excited? Also, consider joining my Discord server where we have fashion competitions every single week, including whenever Solstice is going to drop. So make sure you are joined up because all of the best looks from that will be shown off in a future video. And if you don't want to miss that video, go ahead and also get subscribed. I want to give a big shout out to all of my Patreon members. You guys are going to be absolutely key next week because of course I always take that Patreon money to just buy Destiny armor so I can then make some reviews for you guys. So Patreon members, you guys are awesome. You're going to make videos like the next video possible, so thank you. As for the rest of you, go ahead and click on any of the videos popping up in the end card now, and as always, stay beautiful.